a serious reason, the machines started, all the machines died off. They just stopped working, even though they had solar panels. Back to cars. What we do know, though, is that there is an energy crisis in Cars 2. So they made All in All. All in All, and by and large, kind of mean the exact same thing if you look it up. So the car started using oil, and then they used clean oil, which is All in All, but that can wipe them out really quickly. So it's not really working, the oil. Which brings us back to WALL-E. Have you ever wondered why WALL-E was the last thing left? The last robot? We do know that the Axiom left 800 years earlier to, left, and their captain was an AI thing, an AI robot thing. Is it possible that his fascination with humans and his friend Cockroach was the thing that kept him living? And that's why he is special and liberated the humans. Can you remember the times when humans and machines lived in peace and there wasn't that much pollution? At the end credits, we see a tree grow from the shoe. The shoe tree thing grew, and it looked strangely a lot like the tree from A Bug's Life. That's red. The reason that we don't see humans in A Bug's Life is because there's not many at the moment. We know from the cockroach the cockroach in WALL-E, that some of the animals did survive. Insects, not animals, insects. So the bugs would have came back, and they would have made more animals again. Like the birds came back because of the insects, and so A Bug's Life must have taken place far enough where birds could have come back, even though they are not even nearly as smart as the insects. Though the tree can't be all the proof, there's still a bit more proof. The animals in A Bug's Life were smarter and doing things that the rats in Ratatouille were only experimenting with. They're just way, way smarter, which is why it could have easily been taken place in the future. The bugs have stores, bars, just a bunch of things that humans have, like advertisements. Bugs are getting smart. Animals are getting smart. They are doing way more than what the animals in Nemo and, all that stuff. They're becoming much, much more smart, which is why it could easily have taken place in the future. Another thing that sets A Bug's Life apart from the rest of them is that it's the only one Pixar movie that does not completely revolve around humans. It's like they're not even worried about humans. They don't even mention humans as one of their threats. And they also made cities. While in Finding Nemo, the most human thing that they do in there is have a school. The ants are also sort of mutated and evolved because they live much, much longer than the average ant. Normal ants now live 3 months. But in A Bug's Life, the ants were way older and said, "Oh, last summer," stuff like that to make it sound like they've been alive for a long time. And one of the ants during working said that he felt like he was 90 again. 90 years old, people. That is a long time. That is called evolution. So what happens next? Humans, animals, and AI start living together in harmony until another super species comes. Monsters. Monsters Inc. actually takes place in the way, way, way future, where humans are not on the Earth anymore. And in Monsters Inc., they say that they call it I mean Monsters University. They say that the college was founded in 1313. That could mean that the monsters made a new calendar, started a new year, which means that they could have happened 1,400 years after A Bug's Life happened. That Monsters Inc. took place 1,400 years after. Well, Ibsen, where do they come from, huh? Where do they come from? Well, it is possible that the monsters are just mutated animals from the 800 years they were on a very bad planet full of, just terrible planet. They're probably just mutated from the diseases of the 800 years stuck on a very disgusting planet. But remember, this did not happen during WALL-E. They did not become monsters during WALL-E. They happened many hundreds of years after. It's just the disease helped mutate them and stuff, you know? Agree or not, they do look a lot just like mutated animals. Only larger and, more civilized.
They even have cities and schools.
As we see in Monsters University and Inc. Just saying. Though, there isn't really a 100% reason that the humans aren't there anymore. There are a few smaller theories. There is a theory that the machines and animals forgot that they needed the humans, so they just wiped them out. Bye-bye, humans. And, that's their big mistake. And then there's another one where it's like, the humans just couldn't live there anymore because of, all the mutations. Maybe they left, maybe they flew away to a different planet, just many different reasons. All we know is that humans are gone now, and they have an energy crisis. When did we see an energy crisis? Let me think. Cars. They keep forgetting. They need humans for energy. Because humans are the source of their energy. But thanks to the machines, the monsters figured it out. They figured out how to get the human energy back to where they live, into the future. They can get the energy from the humans that lived way in the past to their future time. They made doors. They can go back in time so that they can scare humans. Though they do need the humans for, their energy, they still don't really like them that much. They went so far as to believe that even one single touch from a human can kill you. That's how much they hated humans. Just the thought of touching a human could, they just thought that touching a human could kill you. That is how much they hated humans and were afraid of them. So they decided to scare the humans, but then later they learned that laughter is better than scare because it's green energy, positive energy. Another theory that makes a bit more sense is that the monsters, since they were, working through time, they were afraid that one wrong mistake and their whole existence could end. So they trained monsters who scared that one single touch from the humans can kill you. So that they won't, think humans are fine. They'll, be afraid of them. They won't stay and talk to them or anything. They won't mess around. And they can't stay close to the humans too much. That is why. So, Another thing to worry about is the kids are not getting as afraid anymore these days. What they said that in the movies. So, yeah. The theory is that it probably takes a lot of energy to get going to the past. It's not like, no energy at all. So they have to go back enough where they'll get energy in return. So they waste energy, and then hopefully they'll get more energy than they spent. So they have to get closer and closer to their time. So to the scares, it's just just going out there and scaring. But do upper people, like, water news. They want to, like, capture children and make them give them energy forever. And just, just scare them for the rest of their lives and get a lot of energy without having to waste energy. So, Monsters Inc. is the most futuristic we can go on. So, this is a time where all humans, animals, and robots just all live harmoniously all together. And then there's Boo. What do you think happened to her? She saw a time in Earth where Kitty can talk to her, and so she became obsessed with finding her old pal Sully and and trying to figure out why the animals in her time are not as smart as the animals she saw in Sully's time. She realizes that doors were the way that she found Sully in the first time. So she becomes a witch. Yes, Boo is the witch from Brave. She figures out how to find Sully again and goes back to the time where she thinks the power comes from. The will of the wisps. They are what started everything. So she uses the magic to make doors that go forward and backward in time to try and find her friend Sully. Well, how do we know for sure that Boo is the witch? Well, in her workshop, you can see a carving of Sully. And she's obsessed with bears. Okay? She turns people into bears. She carves bears. She's just obsessed with bears. And if you think of Sully, what animal does he look like most? Yep, a bear. Yes, she called him Kitty when she was younger, but once she got older, she started thinking of it more logically and thought, oh, he's too big to be a kitty. And she just, he looks more like a bear than a cat. When she got older, she realized that. We also see a Pizza Planet truck carved in her workshop. How would she know about pizza if she was back then? Even just the truck. How would she know if she was just back then? They were not even thinking of pizza back then. So she was from the future who went into the past in order to get the Will-O-Wisp's powers. And we know that she's Boo because of her obsession with bears. She has a sculpture of Sully, and she has a Pizza Planet truck carved in her workshop. You remember how the witch opened the door, and it was one thing, and then she opened the door again, and it was a different thing? Time travel. The doors, she opened it was one time, she opened it again, it was a different time, okay? It's time travel. So when Merida tried looking for her, she tried to use the doors, right? Well, the doors, the witch was in time. She was further in time somewhere. And that's why she couldn't find the witch. Well, how did she figure out to make the doors and stuff? Like, how did she make the doors? Well, it's as simple as this. She learned that wood had a power too, not just humans. Humans were not just the single power source. Wood also had a power source. In Monsters Inc., they used wood because they learned that wooden doors, because they learned that it had energy, and they learned to use that energy to travel to a specific time and place. Some may say that the door that they used to banish Sully was a metal door. Well, guess what? You can go both ways through the wooden doors. You can only go one way through the metal door. And that is why it's metal. And that's the Pixar theory. So tell us in the comment section down below if you liked it. I'm not sure if you guys would have liked that, but it is a theory. So if we're going to do more theories, it's going to be sort of like that. A bunch of cutscenes and stuff like, what I just did. So if you like it, tell us in the comment section down below. If you didn't like it, tell us in the comment section down below. And